Hi, today I want to show you the new style panel inside of Toddle and how you can use it to do lots of exciting stuff. Now, Toddle has completely revamped the style panel to give you more control over styling, similar to Webflow's CSS overrides. And today I want to take a look with you at this new update, how you can use it and how you can get the most out of it. So let's get right started with that. So as you can see, we are here in the Toddle editor, and on the right side we have the completely new revamped style panel with lots of new options and lots of new possibilities. Now today we want to do something that has been impossible inside of Toddle. We want to do those kinds of headings with this rainbow gradient text background that Apple uses on their website, fully visually without any custom code inside of Toddle. Now we couldn't do this before, but now we can do it. So let's get right started with that. So just to start out, let's just add an H1. Let's add a nice heading inside of here. And we are going to type inside of here, style panel v2. There you go. Now we got style panel v2 as text inside of here. Now I want to give it a nice rainbow fade gradient kind of like thing background. So for that, we can go to the style panel and we can add a background color. And then we can go to gradient, to the new gradient panel that Toddle has added, and we can adjust our gradient. Let's say we want to go from yellow to orange. There you go. Now we have set up that gradient. We can change the direction and all that kind of stuff here, but I'm fine with that. And now we need to go to the background color of this text. We'll make it transparent. And now we see we don't have the text and we just have this thing. And this is where the new functionality of the editor becomes super handy, because we need to set a custom property. Now the Toddle editor cannot have all the CSS properties out there, so as Webflow doesn't have them, but they can help us add them nicely and visually. So in here, all the way down here in this new advanced section, I can click on plus, and without having to write CSS or without having to write the code itself, I could just add that custom property inside of Toddle now. So I want to do background clip. There you go. And now I'm going to type in text. There you go. Now we got background clip text on this element here. Background clip text, and as you can see, the text itself is still set to inherit. So let me just clear the text color, or I need to do it transparent. There you go. And now we got that animation here. And when you add that in Toddle, just make sure that the text color, is not black, because the default is always black, that you just move it to be transparent. While moving it to be transparent, you give the background color that we have set, that is clipped only within the area of the text, the visibility to show itself. And now we got those amazing gradients. And there are way more features in the style panel. So how about we'll just build a little quick landing page here just to, get something nice going here. So we can now just wrap this in a div block, in an element. And as you can see, we are, when I wrap this in an element, it kind of like, it doesn't really like that. So what we can do, we can just go to this element here, and let's just take a look what happens if we clear that color, because if we do inherit, it's going to take that. Interesting. Let's try adding another property to this. Text fill color, and then we do transparent. Okay. Text fill color transparent. That's usually like the property you want to add for those things. again, we need to make this transparent. So let's just go with white and transparent. Now this shouldn't update the property. So when we have this in elements, it shouldn't inherit the one. So now we can set some padding with the element around it. Let's do 2rem as an example. There you go. Now we're not editing that. 2rem, and now I got it in a nice cart. And now inside of here, I can wrap this in another element. There you go. We're not losing anything now. And I can add a nice paragraph. And I want to make that paragraph, you know, I can just go inside of here, and I can then, in this new selection panel, set the gray color I want to use. And there you go. I can now say, check out the amazing new panel. There you go. And now I can just go to the element that holds it, center everything. I want to add a little bit of a gap, so I can do 0.35 rem to give it a little bit of a gap. Very nice. Take a look at that. And now inside of here, I just want to add a background color maybe to this element as well. We could add an image, and we could then add this kind of frosted glass effect behind that image. Now I already have an image here. I don't think I have better images on my computer. So we'll just set a background image on this one here. There you go. And now we kind of like want to create this frosted glass effect. Actually, let's add an image, not on here, let's add an image on the background div. So we'll go on the background here and we'll add an image. And we will just make sure the image is centered. And we need to add the cover. So we're covering the whole element with the image. There you go. So now we can set that background image that easy. And now I can go on this div here, and I can add an advanced property of backdrop minus filter, and I can add blur 30 pixels. And now I got this frosted glass effect. And now I can add a border radius of 20 pixels. And now we need to add, because we see we got some overflow issues going on here, we need to scroll up. We need to go on layout. Ooh, they changed some things. I gotta click on here. Sometimes it's a little bit confusing with the new panel, because if you want to set new things, you don't have the 3 dots anymore. You gotta click on here to then update those. And I want to do overflow X, clip, overflow Y, clip. There you go. And now I got this nice frosted glass effect, and I think it would be looking even nicer if we're going to make this fully white. There you go. Doesn't this look beautiful? And we can now also go with the background here and make it, we can go back to the background, make it dark, and just kind of like, you know, work with some transparency here to kind of like make it look even nicer. And there you have it. We got this frosted glass effect. Actually, that's too dark. We got to do it like this. Yeah. Now we got this frosted glass effect inside of Toddle, made with the new designer. We can now also click on the plus here. Ooh, no, not on background. we can click on the plus on borders, and we can now set up a border on all sides. And we can add a white border. There you go. Yeah, there you go. And we can, oh no, I wanted to have a white border. So let's go here, white. There you go. And now we can just work with some transparency here. And now as you can see, we got a nice little border around it. And we can then also work with shadows. Where did shadows go? Ooh, animations, transitions, transform. Oh, no, that's not transform. Yeah, no, transform, effects. Oh yeah, shadows is now under effects, and you have multiple effects. You have text shadow, outline, opacity, right? You got all those kinds of things. You can set the opacity with the new style panel here. You can go and now set up a shadow, so we can move. As you can see, we can move the shadow outside of here, a little bit down to the side. I can add a blur of 20 pixels, and I can make the shadow a little bit more intensive. And there you go. I got my very exaggerated shadow, just like that. And now there are lots of other options, right? We can also set up some animations and all that kind of stuff. So let's say we want to do a little animation where we animate this in. We do also have the animation editor inside of Toddle, where we can, oh, this is not an explanation of the animation editor, but we can make a little pulse animation, as you can see. We can build those animations, and they require kind of like us to, there you go. I do have an animation on this with the new animation editor. So I think if we reload the page, it should, there you go. It should do a little animation. And there you go. I can delete this one. We can do a fade in, we can do a rotate, we can do a bounce, we can do a pulse, we can do a wobble. Let's do a wobble, right? And then on load, we should be able to, there you go. We see how this kind of like animates nicely with that animation in CSS. And there you go. We got the rotate, we got the translate, and it's kind of like doing this animation here whenever something happens to the element. So I think, or when the page reloads, right? So that's cool. And we can kind of like, you know, make things now fade in when the page loads, or animate in when the page loads. If you want more control, if something is in the viewport, you can still use the package for the intersection observer. But this is a nice thing, right? So you don't have to use variables for things like just fading something in. You can now use the animation editor for that with some of the pre-made presets, right? Where you can click on those and kind of like, you know, rearrange that timeline very nicely. Now we got a little animation. There are also lots of other things that are now available in the style panel. We can now also search for the property. So I can go to backdrop filter, and I should be able to go to my property then. So as you can see, I can search all the properties. I can go with filter, align items, flex, font, height, object fit. Let's go to text align, text shadow, right? I can go to text shadow, for example, and then it shows me the text shadow property in CSS. Now I don't want a text shadow, so I can go back. But the very cool thing is here, for example, on this heading, we can just go to this heading here, and we can go to, what was the custom property? A background clip, background, and you will see we get all the background options here. Now the thing is, it only shows you the options that are available in the editor. It won't show you custom options. But if you want to do, for example, background repeat, it'll open that section for you. So if you know the name of the property, but you're not sure where to find that in Toddle, this new style panel can now also help you with that. And then we have transform, right, which kind of like lets you, you know, oh, we got more options. You can kind of like rotate elements by 90 degrees, right? If you ever need to, you still have those properties available. And we got transitions. You can now, you know, you can still add all transitions if you want to, you know, make things transition when you update them as variables and all that kind of stuff. And now the UI of adding styles also has updated, which is very nice. So what you can do is you can now add, for example, a hover element with a nicer editor. So we can go on this card, for example, create a new style, go on hover or select any other style or any classes. And then we can, you know, set some of the responsiveness if we want this to be on a specific breakpoint, but we don't. So now I just selected my hover style. We also have now, you know, some pseudo elements and starting style. But now if we go to the hover inside of here, I can now change the background to be a little bit lighter on hover. So now if I go over here, you see that I got my hover. And now I want to make this nicely transition because it's very fast, that transition. So I can add a transition to this. And we are changing the background color. So it is the background, and I can add a transition, a nice transition on this. There you go. You see how this now nicely animates inside of Toddle. Now, I don't like this cursor. I don't want people to select the text over this card. So I can go in here, I can go to effects, and I can go to cursor, and I can just take the normal cursor. So now I can just go over here, and they can still select text, but it doesn't show the text select one. And there you go, how nice this is, right? So now I got this, and I designed this all with the new style panel V2, this beautiful gradient, this beautiful glass effect. Toddle is really improving when it comes to the design capabilities that you have inside of it. It's becoming more and more like Webflow. So if you're looking to build great web applications, interactive, highly interactive websites, I would highly suggest you to take a look at Toddle. You won't regret it. And if you want to get 10% off Toddle, check the link in the video descriptions. I do have an affiliate code for you that lets you save 10% if you ever want to upgrade to a paid plan to get hosting and unlimited projects and all that kind of stuff. Also, if you want to learn more about Toddle, I would highly suggest you to take a look at, where did it go? NoCodeProCode.com. There you go. That's my community, and we help you with daily office hours, dozens and dozens of courses, over 150 hours of educational materials only about Toddle and Xano and everything around it. We're going to help you to make better progress in your projects, solve roadblocks faster, and the beautiful thing, I've never seen this anywhere before, is you can just join our daily office hours Monday to Friday, and you'll be able to just go on a Zoom meeting, on a group Zoom meeting, and get your questions and your roadblocks solved. We'll take a look at that together. We'll solve your roadblocks, and we'll make sure that you keep making progress. And the beautiful thing about that is we now also have Australian friendly time. So we have office hours every day at 9 a.m. PST, which is great for people in the US, great for people in Europe. It's a great time, but it hasn't been a great time for people in Australia. So if you're in Australia, we now have Wednesday and Friday office hours at 3 p.m. I think that should be 9 a.m. your time. So we have 9 a.m. my time, and we'll have 9 a.m. your time. So there is availability now to make it easier for people to attend the office hours from multiple time zones. So if you want to take a look at that for the small price of $129, you can be part of a community that answers all your questions. Make sure that the moment you are stuck, you can solve that problem and keep making progress. Because the biggest thing that I see a lot of people fail with, a lot of people get stuck, is they have all their ambitious ideas, and then it comes to the back end, or it comes with some integration, it comes with authentication, it comes with adding payments, and they just get stuck and they give up. It doesn't have to go that far. If you are stuck at any place, or if you want to make sure that you learn things properly from the ground up, even if you have maybe never touched Toddle, I would highly suggest you take a look at NoCodeProCode.com, because it gives you the foundations, and it gives you the access to ask the questions as they come up and to get real answers, kind of like in person virtually, from me, to help you make progress. And if you're already an expert, there are always things you get stuck, and you just can have that, that calmness, that relief to know that whenever you encounter a problem, it's just one question away. The solution is just one question away. You can ask that in our forum or in the daily office hours, and we'll help you solve all your roadblocks so you can keep shipping and keep making progress. And I do think the combination of Toddle and NoCodeProCode.com is going to make you faster than vibe coding this. And the important thing where NoCode ProCode plays in, you're going to learn the foundations about web development, and you're going to learn something, and you're going to own your skill. You're not relying or being dependent on AI. Every day you are no-code, pro-code, you just become way smarter and you become way better at what you do. And if you don't believe me, because I'm the one you'll be sending your money, there is also lots of people inside of here that share their success stories with it. You can take a look at that. Everybody loves it and it's a great value, and I would love to see you in there. So thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you so much for supporting my work. And if you want to level up and you want to make progress faster, like Jerry, like Damien, like Leonard, who built the biggest application built inside of Toddle. It was an adult website, thanks to the help of office hours. By the way, we have strict policies in what you're able to screen share in the meetings, so you don't have to be afraid of him sharing something you don't want to see. Or like Philip, or like Johnny, and you want to make progress like nobody else is making progress, take a look at NoCodeProCode.com. The link to join is in the video description and in the pinned comment. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate that, and see you in the next video. Take care.